With Memorial Day weekend in the rear view mirror, what can we expect as we enter June? I'll be breaking it all down coming up in this video. Howdy y'all, welcome back. Hope y'all enjoyed your Memorial Day weekend, and it looks like we're going to be dealing with some severe weather today as there's a slight risk over here by New Mexico and Texas. Now the main risks today are going to be a 5% chance for tornadoes within this red zone here and a 2% surrounding that in the green. As far as the damaging wind threat goes today, there is a pretty significant chance for damaging winds with this 15% hatch area over by Texas and parts of New Mexico. There's a regular 15% chance in the yellow that surrounds that, and a 5% chance which spans all the way up into South Dakota. Now, as far as large hail threat goes, there's also 15% hatch area over here by eastern New Mexico with a 50% surrounding that, and a 5% spanning up to South Dakota as well. As we head off into Thursday, there is a marginal risk for severe weather over here by New Mexico, Texas, parts of Oklahoma, and parts of southeastern Colorado, and southwestern parts of Kansas. All hazards are possible tomorrow with a low-end tornado, wind, and large hail threat. And as we push off into Friday, there is a slight risk for severe weather, which includes central to southern Texas, and a marginal risk which spans off into west central Kansas. So now that we know the risk for the next 3 days, let's go ahead and take a look at the time frame of when we could expect the worst from the severe weather. Now let's take a look at the HRRR model. Keep in mind the date and time is up here. Keep in mind this is an Eastern time. As we push this forward, it looks like by right around 2 o'clock is when severe weather could start to form and enter that slight risk zone. Keep in mind, all hazards are possible today with a pretty significant tornado, wind, and hail threat. It looks like it's going to start to diminish by right around 8 o'clock and turn more into a flooding threat, as there is a slight risk for excessive rainfall within this whole zone. So if you're living in a flood-prone area, please be aware of that. Turn around and do not drown. And then in lower resolution down in the named 3-kilometer model to look at the marginal risk for Thursday within this dark green zone here. And this one we're going to start to enter June already. Now, it looks like some severe weather is going to be getting this ramped up by right around 5 o'clock. Now, keep in mind the threats are pretty low tomorrow, but still take them seriously. And there's also a chance for flooding as well tomorrow within these zones. So please, again, if you live within those zones and you live in a flood-prone area, please be aware of that, as it looks like the severe weather is going to be lasting from right around 5 o'clock and starting to taper off by right around midnight. And as we push off into Friday, I want to look at what we call lightning flash density rate. As we push off into Friday, it looks like by right around 2 o'clock to right around 5 o'clock is when the worst of the severe weather could occur. You can see with the pink here, it's right around 6 o'clock. It looks like it's going to start to taper off by right around midnight to 1 o'clock in the morning. It looks like we're going to be in the clear. So wherever you're under for the next 3 days, just please remain weather aware. Know where to go when that severe weather warning does go off. For the storm shelter, basement, watching you in the outside as possible. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the risk at the issue for the next 3 days. Alright, we're going to take a look at something called the significant tornadic parameters. Pretty much puts all the severe weather modes into one run of where the most favorable ingredients for tornadic development could be. As we push this forward, looks like the greatest chance of seeing tornadoes could be within this zone right here, as there is almost a 1 out of 10 on the tornadic scale. And as you can see, be some severe weather development within that zones, and we'll take a look at a sounding to show you what I'm talking about here. Now this is over northwest Texas by around 7 o'clock. Looks like temperatures are going to be in the low 60s with dew points that are in the middle to upper 50s today. Not much in the way of instability. There's not any convective inhibition out there to suppress supercell development. CAPE values ain't very high. CAPE, basically convective available potential energy, basically it's fuel for thunderstorm development. Mixed layer CAPE is about 1,000, so not really much in the way of instability. In the way of thermodynamics, now if we look at the kinematics here on the right, the enhanced helicity index is right around 1.3, and the storm relative helicity is at a 120. So not really that big of a tornado day, I don't think. But still, in case a tornado goes off, please know where to go. Preferably have as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Storm shelter, basement, interior room. Please be weather aware and never fear as shelter is near. We know that tomorrow's not going to be that big of a severe weather day. And determine what kind of risk we could see on Friday. We'll have to lower resolution down to the GFS to determine whether or not it's going to be a bigger severe weather threat than today. Now it looks like it will be right around 5 o'clock. Looks like we could be dealing with right around 2,300 joules per kilogram as far as the way of surface-based CAPE goes. So it looks like a bigger severe weather day is going to be happening on Friday compared to today and tomorrow. So whatever risk you're under for the next 3 days, just still remain weather aware and know where to go when severe weather strikes. Never fear, as shelter is near. Now with hurricane season upon us, let's take a look down here by Florida. It looks like there is a tropical development chance. Now there is a 10% chance within the next couple days and a 20% chance within the next 7 days. It's a pretty low chance, but still a chance for tropical storm development. Now let's take a look at the NAM 3-kilometer model to look at the next 2 days. Now, it looks like we do have a little bit of a disturbance down here by the Gulf. And either way, regardless if it turns into a tropical storm or not, it looks like we're going to be dealing with a lot of flooding. It looks like it's going to be heading north and it's going to be bringing a lot of rainfall to the panhandle of Florida. Look at the next 7 days for tropical storm development. Look at the NAM 12-kilometer. A lot of rainfall from the next 7 days if you live down there by Florida. But now that we know that we're going to be dealing with storm chances down by Florida, let's go take a look at what we could expect as we enter June. Now, take a look at what we could expect as we enter June. Let's go take a look at the 500 millibar height anomalies. We're looking at the Euro model. Keep in mind that date and time's up here, but man, if you ever want to keep track, blues represent cooler and wetter weather, and the reds and the oranges represent the drier and warmer weather. As we head towards June, we know we got the severe weather down by Texas, and we got some tropical storm development down here by Florida. As we push this forward, it looks like we'll be in this pattern for quite some time, as the northern half of the country is going to be dry and warm, and the southern half of the country is going to be cool and wet. Now, it looks like that pattern is going to be starting to set in for most of the country as we head towards the middle of June. As see it's starting to creep up into the eastern part of the country, and especially up here in the northeast. It looks like its patterns are going to be coming in by the middle of June. We look at the temperature anomalies as well. It looks like southwest part of the country is going to be dealing with below average temperatures, while the northeast part of the country is going to be dealing with an above average temperature pattern. And as we look at the Climate Protection Center, it looks like it's in agreement with that, as states from Washington all the way down into Tennessee are going to be above average as far as temperatures go, and from California on up into Maine, it looks like y'all going to be below average. As we head into the 14-day outlook, looks like much of the country is going to be in a below average pattern, as you see here in the blue, from California on over into Kansas, and from Wisconsin on down into the Carolina into Maine, y'all going to be below average. And it looks like from down here, Florida on over into Texas, and from Minnesota on over into Washington, y'all going to be in this above average pattern. As far as precipitation outlook goes, for the next 6 to 10 days, we know we've been pretty dry out here in the Ohio Valley, and it looks like that pattern is going to be continuing, unfortunately. But it looks like much of the country is going to be dealing with this above average precipitation pattern. And as we head off in 8 to 14 days, don't look like much has changed except for by the southern part of the Midwest. Looks like we're going to be above average, but still, if you live within Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and parts of Iowa, y'all are still going to be below average. Looks like as we enter June, looks like we could be dealing with an active weather pattern, as we're going to be dealing with some severe weather for the next 3 days. If you live within any of those risk zones, just please remain weather aware. And when that warning does go off, and never fear, as shelter is near. And it looks like a tropical storm chance is going to be in store down by Florida. It's a pretty low chance, so really, I don't think anything's going to happen from it. And it looks like we're going to be dealing with a pretty wet June down in the southern part of the United States, and pretty dry if you live in the northern part. It looks like we're going to be remaining above average as far as temperatures go for most of the country. So if you like the video, please hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe down below. Feedback's always appreciated, and I appreciate everybody for watching. And until next time, never stop forecasting.